Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my July book haul, which is a fairly small haul. I only have 6 books to share with you guys. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box for links to my social media, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways. The first book was sent to me by my friend Dom over at Dominish Books. Check out his channel. And that is Shadow Black by Sebastian de Castell. This is book 2 in the Spellslinger series. And I still have not read book 1, but it's definitely one I want to get to very soon. In this world, we follow a character named Kellen, and in book 1, Kellen realizes that his magic is starting to fade. And in this world, if your magic leaves you, you are actually exiled. And at the same time, this foreign woman comes into town and he ends up invoking her help to try and restore his magic. And she leads him down a path of this new type of more dangerous magic as Kellen tries to figure out what is going on with his own magic. I've never read anything by Sebastian de Castell before, and this is definitely a series that had piqued my interest a while ago, so I'm excited to get to it. So thank you, Dom, for sending me book 2. And there is kind of a story that goes along with this. So when he sent me this book, I got the package in the mail, but the package had busted open and it was completely empty. So I called Amazon and they replaced the book and everything, obviously, but because of the inconvenience, they gave me a promotional credit, so I was able to buy another book that Dom inadvertently bought me, or Amazon bought me, and that book is Endymion by Dan Simmons, which is book 3 in the Hyperion Cantos. So that is what I chose to use my promotional credit for. I really don't know anything about this book. I don't really want to know about it because I don't want to spoil myself for the Fall of Hyperion, which I meant to read in June and totally did not do it. But real quick, I just want to show you guys this series and how utterly mismatched it is. Hyperion, Fall of Hyperion, Endymion. So I don't have the same edition or even light covers for any of these books. That is why my bookshelves have such character. And the next book is a standalone fantasy book that I was able to get with my reward points from thriftbooks.com, and that is The Raven Tower by Ann Leckie. It just came in the mail today, and it came with the dust jacket, but it is a library edition book, which I personally like. Usually the library books are in pretty good condition, so it does have the library binding on it, so I do have to get the library binding off, and it does have King County Library, Washington State on there. So if you get books from thrift books, like they do have a lot of overflow library books, they always have some sort of marking on them, but it doesn't bother me. It was a free book. I actually have some other books that came from King County. Thrift books based in Washington? Hold on, I know I do. Under the Never Sky, also got from thrift books, King County, and The Girl in Red, King County. So, what are the odds? 3 books within the same county in Washington library system. Anyway, if you guys watched my standalone fantasy books that I want to read but don't own, this was one of the books that was on there. The only other book I could have purchased with my reward was Taigana by Guy Gabriel Kay, and I chose to go with The Raven Tower just because the premise kind of appealed to me more. But in this book, we follow a kingdom called Iridan, and Iridan is kind of protected and overseen by this god known as the Raven, and the Raven employs a human called a Lys to rule in his stead. And the Lys has to offer up blood sacrifices to the Raven. But some things start happening. Someone takes the Lys off the throne, usurps the throne, and some secrets about the Raven, this god, this tower, comes to light. And I'm very excited to read it because it is a standalone. I've never read an Ann Leckie book before, and a couple of people in the comments for that video really said they liked this. And it's actually got fairly big font for a fantasy book, so it's not like super dense. So very excited to have this one in my collection. The next book I got was Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton. I found this at the used bookstore when I was on vacation, and I've never read anything by this author before, but I know that a lot of people enjoy this work. But in this book, it is the year 2204, and the entire galaxy has basically been colonized, and there's some new sort of technology that has been developed where you can literally just step to different worlds and starships. No space travel is even really required. But one day, a spaceship of unknown origin crashes about 80 light years from Earth, and a team is sent to investigate. And when they get there, they start to uncover all of these strange things. So it sounds like it's going to have a little bit of sci-fi thriller elements to this, a little bit of mystery, and it sounds like it's got the setup for a very classic sci-fi novel. So I'm excited to finally have one of Peter F. Hamilton's books in my collection. The next two books are thrillers, and the first one is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. This is another book I found used. When I first started reading thrillers last year, a lot of you guys recommended Lisa Jewell to me, and there were two books at the bookstore that I was interested in, but this one just caught my interest more. But in this book, we follow a girl named Libby, and Libby is the heir to this mansion on the Thames River. And this mansion kind of has a history because when she was 10 months old, the police were called to this mansion, and when they arrived, they found 3 adults, all dead, and Libby safe and sound. But supposedly there were other children that lived in this mansion, but they had gone missing. And now that she is set to inherit this mansion, these other children, I'm assuming it's her siblings, reappear. So we have to go back in time, learn the mystery of the deaths of these adults, what happened to these children, and what's going on with this inheritance of this mansion. So it sounds really bizarre, really interesting, a premise like I personally have never read before, and I have a feeling it's going to keep me on the edge of my seat. Then I picked up a psychological thriller, and that is Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I've never read a psychological thriller before, and I remember this one going around BookTube a couple years ago, and it was like $2, so I picked it up. But in this book, we follow a girl named Jessica, and she willingly enters into this psychological experiment that tests ethics and morality. But as the experiment goes on, the line between what is reality and what is an experiment begins to be blurred, and she can't tell the difference. Not only that, but there's something going on with the doctor where he's able to manipulate her behavior. And it also says that there's like some attraction between the two of them. So it just sounds like it's one of those books where you don't know if you can trust the narrator. You don't know who you can trust. Probably won't know if the doctor is going to be good or bad. And just have that like underlying sexual tension between the two of them will just add that little bit of extra to the plot. So I'm excited to have a psychological thriller in my possession, and this is one that I think I'll get to really soon because I'm really curious to read it. Okay, you guys, that is it for my July book haul. See, I promised you it wasn't too bad. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.